Justine. How does it feel to be back into Toronto, where you won this tournament twice, and how you view it as a city overall towards you?
Yeah, I feel very jet lagged today. I got from Europe yesterday, so it's a great feeling. I mean, Toronto is a lot of good memories. Canada is a lot of good memories actually. And when I was flying yesterday, I was thinking, wow, it's 8 years ago already. Time goes very fast. I realized that, but yeah, it's just strange to be in the media room of a tournament. I forgot how it was. Life has changed a lot. But no, I feel very honored by the induction to the Hall of Fame. I won Toronto 2 times. Like I said, Canada is something very special. It's first time I came in Canada, I think I was 8 or 9 years old. I have family in Montreal. My godfather lives there for 30 years, and my cousins. And I came back last year for 3 weeks of holidays, and yeah, the Canadian crowd knows about tennis, and I like the culture. So being back only for the weekend is a great feeling. Toronto has changed a lot. What I could see, the city, it's getting bigger and bigger. But now I feel very proud and very honored.
Yeah, and you mentioning about being in the media room now, like how does it feel being on the other side now and doing like work at the French Open for Canal Plus, and how that adjustment and that process works for you?
Yeah, it's a great experience. It's something that I did a few years ago when I retired, and this year I did it at the French and in Wimbledon. It's different. It's less pressure. Everyone is talking to me, are you nervous? But I was much more nervous when I was on the court. But looking, you know, with the distance and watching the matches and try to talk about what I see of the game, of the circuit, and differently than in the past, of course, because I took a lot of distance with the tennis in the past few years. I still have my academy in Belgium. I really keep one foot in tennis, but the rest of the time I have a family now, I have a little girl, and I do different kind of things. So. But when I come back into the tournaments, it's great to be in it with this distance I took in the last few years.
Does your little child see like her mom from past matches, and does she think about playing tennis herself, or does she say mommy's cool? And
she understood that mom and tennis, there's something there. there's a story. She understood that. She got that. She comes in. She comes with me into my club very often, so she wants a racket now. She has a little racket, but she will do whatever she wants. I will never push for that, and I will follow her. That's for sure.
Hi, Justine.
Hi.
I'm just wondering if you could maybe, from your perspective, talk about how the women's game of tennis has changed since you retired, and your thoughts on the game right now and the top players.
Yeah. What I admire and respect so much is still that Serena remains the boss. I mean, at her age, after everything she accomplished, and probably she will do the Grand Slam this year and beat some records. I mean, it's something that we all have to respect. I know what it takes to wake up and still want to go to do the hard work, and that's fantastic. The thing that I regret a little bit is that I don't have the feeling that she's really pushed by the other players in the last few months. Probably Azarenka could do that, and she's the player that I see in the best position to do that. She was very close at the French Open and in different tournaments in the past few weeks, but there are many girls that can play good tennis, but it's not consistent enough. I wish I could see more 4, 5, or 6 girls that really go, that we know in every tournament is the same girls that we're going to see at the end of the tournament, so the level can get higher. But of course, there is a good tennis, but I wish the girls can be more consistent and believe that they can beat Serena, because some players proved in the past that it is possible. So, and I think they don't believe in it enough.
Do you see a difference in terms of the way Serena plays is with a lot of power? You were known for like sort of your all-around court game and using different shots. Do you see that there's a difference in that a lot of the girls and a lot of the women playing right now are going for those big, powerful shots?
Well, it's still a game that the ball is going very fast and the girls hit pretty hard. Serena improved, I think, a lot in terms of doing different things, using different shots on the court. I completely agree with that, especially on clay, because we can talk about what happened at the French Open. She was sick, and of course that was part of the story, but in another way she really plays better on the surface, I think, and she has she wants to do different things on the court. I could see that, and I like that. And when I see Alep is probably the girl that I really appreciate the most to watch, because she tries to do different things. And when she's in defense, she can do a high ball. She can try to put more pressure, come to the net a little bit. And she reminds the way I was playing a little bit, even if there are different things. But I wish I could see more of that on the circuit.
And just last question from me. You mentioned Halep, and Halep has said that you're one of her idols, and I'm just wondering, we just saw a semifinal with two of the women's players who are the smaller players, and you, of course, weren't one of the tallest players, but you sort of defied the odds, and you had a great career. So maybe some of just your thoughts on sort of the smaller players still showing that you don't necessarily have to be tall.
Of course, I mean, I proved it because when I was a teenager, the different coaches and the agents and even persons of my family, they really thought I was too small to be a professional, very good tennis player. And I always believed that I could use my qualities. I could be quick, I could be powerful myself if I improve technically. And the girls that I see, that I could see on the court this afternoon, that prove too that it is possible. And you can compensate it in another way. You have to be smart and you have to think differently, and that's good because you really have to think, okay, now what do I have to do? But you have to work physically probably twice harder than the others, because you have to compensate in a way or another. So I think there is no problem with that. For these girls, it's pretty hard to have a long career, because physically, like I said, you have to work twice harder than the others, so your body suffers probably a little bit faster than the others.
Justine, when you talk about the consistency and maybe the lack of consistency that you're seeing, what do you chalk that up to? Why do you think that the current set are maybe not as consistent as maybe the generation before you? Is it mental, physical, technical?
I don't know, because I'm not enough on the tool to really understand why it is, but I don't know. That's a good question. It's probably partly physically and probably also mentally. It's very hard to stay focused during a whole season, and it's very hard to get concentrated and to really stay in your bubble. And of course, the media attention keeps going, and the sponsors and everything. And I think girls have to remember that the most important thing is to be on the court and try to win as many matches as possible. And of course, you have to enjoy what you're doing. That's why we are here, to get the passion and to enjoy what we're doing. But at the end, we keep the results. And I don't know. Maybe it's part of the reasons. I can see good matches, but I really wish we can see that, often and often, so the level can get higher. I hope it's going to change and get better.
And from the commentary booth now, when you're out there watching the matches, I mean, does the game look similar to you, or does it look different?
No, it didn't change that much. Maybe a little bit. Girls are hitting harder and harder and harder. So, but I think it was the case already in my generation. I would say, I feel when I do that, but when I say that. But no, it was. When I was playing, I had the feeling that you were in the last 16, and really everyone could win the tournament. In the Grand Slam, the concurrence was so high, and it was a great generation. I mean, it was. I think Venus and Serena pushed a lot of players to raise their level. I mean, they put the game to another level, and it was fantastic to be part of it, because we had to push ourselves all the time to get better. And it was Kim, it was a time of Davenport, Capriati, it was Ingis, it was Williams sisters, all the Russian girls coming on the tour, was Moresmo, Sharapova coming, and it was a fantastic time.
No, It was a great era.
Yeah, it was.
It's a tough one. But as one of kind of Serena's, she's going to be the story through most of the summer. So as one of her greatest rivals and so many hard-fought matches, what was the key for you
Well,
playing her?
when you want to beat Serena, you need to be at your best all the time. First, you have to believe that you can do it. That's the first thing. And then you need to, from the first one until the end, to be 100% in terms of energy and putting a lot of pressure. You need to be good in defense because you know that Serena is hitting the ball very hard and you're going to suffer, of course, because she's going to hit the ball very hard and she's going to move you, and you need very good in defense and try to take the lead in the point. As soon as you get an opportunity, you really have to take that because you know that there won't be so many opportunities in the match. What is very hard against her is that even if she's not playing at her best, when she's under pressure, she can, especially in her serve, do a fantastic job. I always remember in 2010 I was leading at the Australian Open final. I was leading 1-love in the third and 15-40 on her serve, and she served, I think, 3 or 4 aces, almost 200 kilometers per hour. So it was only her that can do that. Mentally, she is the strongest I had to play. And yeah, maybe she's still even better today than she was a few years ago. That's amazing.
And then just about the Rogers Cup and obviously being inducted, what are your significant or most memorable moments at this tournament? What sticks out to you?
I remember the blackout in 2003. That's for sure. I mean, it's not many times in your life that you experience that. It was still on the old site, and it was great, a great memory. But in terms of tennis, 2007, it has been a great tournament for me. It was the first tournament after my loss against Bartoli in semi-final of Wimbledon, and coming back here, I really wanted to get better and to forget this loss and get ready for the US Open. It was the perfect preparation I could dream of. And yeah, I won 2 times the tournament, and I wish I could do well also in Montreal, but in Montreal there was always something wrong. I was injured or sick or playing bad, and here in Toronto I had a good, yeah, it was a good one. That's right.
It's obviously very difficult to get to the top in your sport. How hard is it to stay there?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's much harder to stay than to get there. I mean, to win a Grand Slam is something, but to win more Grand Slams and more like me, but there's more like Serena and or Steffi Graf or Navratilova, that's still another planet. But it is very difficult because you reach a dream, you reach a goal, and you realize that in 1 second it's over and you need to go to the next one because we can forget that very quickly. And when you win one, you realize if you want to be there for a few years or if you just there for winning 1 Grand Slam or being number 1 just for 1 week or try to stay there. And it is difficult because when you are at the top, everyone looks after you and wants to beat you, and but it's the rule, and it's that at that time you really realize why you are there, what you want to do in the circuit. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and even if you are number 1 in the world, you have to improve. You need to improve, and I remember when I was number 1, I was still going three times a week with my coach, working technically on the court, looking after my grip, 1 or 2 millimeters of difference maybe to try to improve my forehand, and that's why you stay there for a long time. But that's why when I see Serena right now and the way she wants to be here and the way she keeps fighting, I know how hard it is, so I respect that very much.
Are you in any way surprised that she's doing what she's doing at age 33?
I am a little surprised that she still wants to be here. That's for sure. She still has the fire, and probably also the fact that sometimes she was away from the course for a long time and then came back, and she always got the physical capacities to come back pretty quickly and easily on the circuit. So that's an advantage probably for her. But I'm also surprised, like, we don't have girls really that a new generation that really say, okay, you're ones now, you go, we take our place, and well, it's not over yet. I hope it's gonna happen.
One morning.
Justine, we talked obviously a lot about Serena, but it just seems like even non-tennis fans know who she is, and I'm just wondering if you think her dominance has held back the women's game in any way, on the tour that is.
Can you repeat something?
Just if her dominance has held back the tour in any way, do you think so, or just because people kind of assume that she's going to win every tournament?
Yeah.
Does that maybe pull back some fans, or do you think it adversely affects the?
Well, I mean, the fans, they like to have one, on the men's tour it's different because there are three, we say the big four, but, and it's good because you get the concurrence. Now with Serena it's a little bit too much that everyone supports, but we don't have to think that because she's dominating it's going to be easy for her. I mean, it's going to be tough probably at the US Open for her to stay focused and not to stay focused, but to handle the pressure. With the experience she gets, I have the feeling it won't be too difficult. But I think that for the game, it will be very important that we need 2, 3, or 4 players behind her that really try to push her much more. It is very important. Even if we all like to have one, idol that we run after, but nah, I think it's a little bit too much.
Bonjour Justine, alors en français maintenant.